Yes. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Moon Magic. We are here for the new moon, which is in Pisces, which is now, right now. As you both know, we'll just do a little instruction again. I'm Irina from More Healing and Empowerment, and this is
Sequoia from Array of Gratitude.
this is Moon Magic. So tonight's kind of the same kind of rundown. We're going to talk a little bit about the new moon that is in Pisces and what that means. We're going to talk, do an intuitive reading. We're going to give you the journal prompts and the sound bath that you will be able to hear this evening, and a little bit of time for any other reflection or anything else to talk about related to the new moon and anything that we talk about here. Anything you want to add, Coy?
No, I guess I might just say this. Like, I'm really, like I was telling Irina earlier that something around creativity and creative expression has been on my heart all day. I don't know if it is for you all, but I think I might be speaking on that a little bit more. And since we have a small crew too, I just want to say too, I don't mind doing like pulling a card like we did last time too. So I just want to share that with you.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk about the new moon. Do you want to share? Want to start off with what you
Okay,
had when you
yes.
have?
Okay, so let's get into this Pisces energy, right? So Pisces energy is very creative. That's why I was talking about creativity and it's been on my heart. And they're very known for their vivid imagination. Now, like anything, there are negatives and positives to these things. But let's talk about the high vibes first. So the high vibes are all about tuning into the psychic, intuitive nature, the spiritual aspect of things. What else? Receptive energy. Um, Also in a way that is like balanced with not being overwhelmed. Because sometimes when we're receiving things, whether it's I don't know if any of you have received more like psychic or spiritual insight, right? But if you feel that or you receive that in a way, sometimes it can be very overwhelming. And if you think about it, that's it's almost like um 10 people calling your name at the same time, like wanting to give you something or wanting to ask you questions, right? Like picture this whole setup being like filled with 10 or more people and they're like, hey, over here, or like, like the comments are just flooding. It can get overwhelming. And sometimes that's how it is with energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's how it is with thoughts, even ideas. And that's more talking on like the lower end, the negative aspects of the Pisces energy. But there's also some things with the high vibes, right? They're very empathetic people. They have a lot of connection with the heart, heartfelt spaces, one-on-one, and also as a collective and social conscious awareness too. Um, I want to point out the social conscious awareness because a lot of my Pisces friends that I've known, like they always seem to know like little hidden gems. And I find it funny when I started um digging into astrology. They're the last sign on the astrological wheel. So they're the most wisest of the wheel in a way. Um opposed to like Aries is kind of like the newborn baby. And nothing wrong with that, right? But that's just kind of some things that people point out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the low vibes to escapism, scattered emotions, indecisiveness, passiveness, right? And this really like disconnected socially with people, like in hiding, or possibly being like too controlled by social norms. So I'm bringing this up because depending on where your energy is, what your natal chart is, or there just may be some type of topics around this time when it comes to this full moon energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to talk about the chakras. This new moon that I tapped into spoke about the throat chakra, and I have my card here, and we have that light and shadow, right? Aspect. So the shadow aspect, meaning the lower aspect or the hidden things, is I don't like nor appreciate things I create. And we'll probably get into that a little bit later. The light side of that is an affirmation. I have time and compassion with the things that I create. And the throat chakra is all about self expression, speaking your truth, um, speaking your creations into existence, affirmations, right? Um, there's something else that I'm thinking of too. It's also a bridge from the higher chakras, which are the spiritual chakras, into the heart chakra. So it connects with your passions, your drive, and just your desires that you want to express into, your creations, which is the physical part. So I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna let Irina. I'm gonna pass the mic to you.
Sure. I was agreeing with all that you're saying, and some of
Okay.
that also I was thinking about. So what I also found out is the Pisces new moon centers around healing, committing, and celebrating relationships. That's another part of it.
Thank
So
you. I'm glad you brought that up.
healing, yeah. And I think that it's also about spiritual for whatever reason, spiritual awakening, psychic experience,
Mhm.
creativity, all that stuff is coming up for me as you're talking as well. And I love I love the throat chakra because it's one of the areas that I'm working on the most, making sure that I speak. I'm actually reading a book called Permission to Speak, and in
Mm.
general of being able to speak your needs and desires and feelings and putting you out there is what I'm kind of feeling right now.
I like how you brought that up because um in this I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I feel that a lot of times we can get choked up on expressing our ideas at times because we might think like, well, what would people think? Is this a good idea? Is this not? Or sometimes, in the realm of social media, like we'll be like, we're kind of forced to kind of look at other people instead of ourselves first. And when that happens, it's natural to feel like competitive or um insecure in a way, right? But when we want to check that and be present with that moment, then we can actually be like, okay, like how am I expressing how I truly feel in that moment? So, yeah.
And just thinking about when you're saying, I'm going to stop talking right now, let me talk. No, keep going. It's okay, right?
I'm
And
good. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
like just speaking, just go for it. And I think it's also like I'm just thinking about reevaluating or just reflecting on ourselves. And I know for me, reflecting on me speaking, I listened to the last video and I was like, I was talking so daggone fast. And I already have that issue because I talk fast no matter what. But then I
Hmm.
realized I was. And it's something that I want to pay more attention to. And I'm being mindful about doing that this time so that I don't talk too fast because I have something to say and I want to be able to say it and for it to be heard. And I want you guys to all know that as well. For
Absolutely.
yourselves. Mhm.
Yeah. I've been working on my throat chakra. I feel like my whole life. Um, it comes and goes, but the more that I am aware, right?
Mhm.
And just confident in the ways that I express and communicate, because communicating can be different forms of expression, which
Absolutely.
is I've found, like I said, entrepreneurs and like highly creative people, a lot of times when they're in that creative energy, it's like, well, how are we going to express that? And when you're talking about authenticity, right? It's always going back to you and what your truth is, opposed to what the what is the word now? I'm getting lost for it. The whole truth of two sides of the coin, basically, what I'm trying to say, because now I just like forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, yeah.
But I did write some other things down too, like just to bounce back to what you were saying. about like the spiritual awakening and things like that, I wrote down this also can come up as looking like highlighting spiritual quests, or people feeling the urge to start a spiritual journey. Um, Inner child wounds, known or unknown, around creativity, which I just said, right? I'm reading down the list. Recognizing codependent behaviors or impulsive behaviors around self-sabotage, which is all subconscious. And like I was saying, Pisces being the last zodiac sign on the wheel, when you get really into the nitty gritty of astrology, we have different houses, right? And the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. And the 12th house taps into the unconscious things, things that we aren't tangible and that we can't really grasp.
Mhm.
So that's why I wrote that down. Um, Needs to release social conditions, tap more into spirit, and releasing those negative thoughts that love to just come up and pop up and nag us. Yeah.
Stop us from achieving whatever we want to achieve or doing the things we want to do. Absolutely.
Hmm. Did
Hmm.
you see any other things? I know that you look at some of the astrology too, around this full moon, like any other planets that maybe you want to talk about that are like involved in this, or
Well,
besides the moon, even though the moon's not a planet, but it helps Earth in ways.
I believe what I'm looking at, because I like to write things down, people. I like to be very prepared. Saturn,
Which you've helped
that
me
what
with.
you're referring is, are you referring to Saturn?
Okay, yeah, Saturn. I wanted to know, yeah, Saturn, or if there's any other things that you spotted out, I guess.
That was the only other thing that I noticed was about Saturn.
Okay.
I'm working on becoming more, I'll say fluent, more in touch with learning about these things. And so I'm
Okay.
looking forward to doing that. So I don't know, but I just do know that Saturn in conjunction to the moon will more likely bring pressure to the areas that are unhealthy and stop you from moving forward. So with thinking about Saturn and the powers that be from Saturn, I want to say it that way, it can stop you from moving forward. It can think about things that like you're talking about self-sabotage, talking about what is the other word I was just thinking of? Talking about what is the word I'm thinking of? Negative beliefs, negative thoughts, negative habits, and how that can stop us, self-doubt,
Yes,
insecurities, things like that. And so we don't want that stuff to get in the way. We don't want those behaviors, those patterns to stop us from being able to move forward during this time, because this is all about being creative, being expressive at this point.
absolutely. And just kind of going back to the throat chakra too, like just the awareness in itself brings that um authenticity to the surface, instead of when we're talking about subconscious, it's kind of more buried.
Yeah.
But when you're aware, a lot of times I feel like the awareness is that spark that's needed for you to actually start healing, or just digging through things, weaving through um, things you want to release and things that you want to own and stand tall about.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I know that both of you are there. Did you want to have it? Did anything come up for you that you wanted to point out? Does this resonate? If you want to, you can unmute or you can put something in chat. If not, we would love to hear from you later.
Well, I'm a Pisces, so y'all describe me 98%.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool to just, I don't know, like what is of you and what is of your nature and
Mhm.
what can you change versus what can you lean into. So it's I'm sure applicable to non-Pisces as well because it's about the moons, but it's also nice to hear like, oh yeah, that is the negative side of this, trait and stuff like that, and lean more into the positives.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
And
thank
also
you.
with thinking about the negative, I want us to take a look at I'm big on, okay, we can say negative, but also like, okay, let's take a look at this and see how we can use it to our advantage in some way, or just being
Absolutely.
being aware of it so that we know that, all right, this is something that happens, or it occurs within me, or and just being more aware so that we can see how it can help us, or in terms of maybe we can have some improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll
Absolutely.
speak on the indecision. It's like I know that a lot of my indecision is rooted in like I want to not be selfish. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be like inconsiderate. I want to, see what other people want to do, but there is a time and place for like just making a decision and knowing that's what you want.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
do believe that as well.
Yes, thank you
Um,
for sharing.
yes.
Yeah.
um do we want to move on to the what's next? Believe you want to do your
Yeah.
reading.
Okay. Let's get into this reading. So, speaking about like positive negatives, right? This is kind of why I made this card, and I kind of say like light and shadow in a way. Um, Even though I haven't really dug into it, it's a very old psychologist, I guess. That was called Carl Jung, I believe. I don't want to say he's the person that invented this phrase or anything, but I know that there's a lot of his work that has came to the surface recently and kind of popularized it or just brought awareness to us. And I like using that term because, when things aren't in the dark, I mean, when things aren't in the light, we can't really see it, right? So it's kind of like, is that negative? Like a negative charge maybe versus a positive charge. And I've been picking up, I kind of feel like as this balance that I have here with two other chakras. Well, another chakra, which is this yellow chakra, the solar plexus, and it speaks on joy. And then I have where we at? Isolation, right? With the blue, the throat chakra here. And I find it funny because we kind of were already in the groove of this. Like sometimes when we may feel insecure or that self-doubt, we may hide. Pisces, again, like sometimes, right? Maybe escaping, or what's the other word? Well, yeah, hiding, like, like let's just not be seen, maybe, or like minimizing yourself. And um
Mhm.
I remember I don't have the book here, but like there's a book with these cards. They talk, it's like a little story. And I remember them talking about there's a difference between isolation and solitude.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, that always sticks with me because sometimes it's like a conscious choice that you're making. And
Exactly.
then other times it's like a subconscious choice that's like, if that is correct, that you're like hiding from. Um,
I
yeah,
think if I'm thinking of just what for me, isolation would be, it could still be a choice. I'm choosing to be away from other people, but it's a way to run, hide, avoid, deflect. Whereas solitude is I'm choosing also, but I'm doing it to recharge, heal, process, and
yes.
it's a little different, but yeah.
I feel you. Thank you for explaining that because that's what, like, I'm right there with you.
It's so interesting you when you pointed out the card that you brought up and you said the solar plexus, because guess what bowls I have tonight? I have the
Your
solar
solar
plexus
plexus?
bowl and the third chakra. And I do have the root chakra as well. But before you continue, like thinking about the solar plexus chakra, it's about trusting yourself and your abilities. It's about
Yes.
decisive, but being more confident. And so it's perfect in terms of what we were talking about with the voice anyway.
Yes. And even before I get into the questions, right? Now, like with chakras, like each one affects each other. But I do think sometimes that when you look at the seven, right? And the heart chakra is in the middle, then you have the throat and the solar plexus. And then you have like when you go up and down at the same time, a lot of those are very what is the word that I'm thinking of? But a paradoxal, like opposite, but also similar.
Mhm.
Um, there's a word that I can't, it's not rolling off of my tongue, but like this is so funny that I just laugh when I say it's funny, because like when things are intuitive, it can be very hard to um understand when you're not grounded. And then if you want to make more sense of intuitive things, sometimes you need that grounding or tangible thing to balance it out. And what just happened right here, like we didn't talk about this before. And like me just doing the cards, like here we are. And here we are with this new moon and full moon just tapping into that energy. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. And I'm gonna pull up the tarot spread.
Okay, thank you. Because I kind of was pulling it from, yeah, there we go. Good. All right. So let's talk about this first question here. What new awareness is coming to the surface for me or for you all? Card wants to come through. Okay. So we have the Lovers card. It's in reverse. We're still talking about light and shadows, right? And I think that this is what awareness is coming up to the surface for me. So the Lovers card can be about lovers, it can be about relationships, but it can also mean the choice that you choose to act out of love or in love. Is that making sense, right? Um, what's coming up for me right now with this? I think that everything that we do is questioning ourselves and what's in relation to other people. Um, we do not live on this earth by ourselves, And sometimes when we're talking about isolation and deflecting and hiding, um, you may feel like no one understands you, or in relation to other people, partners, family members, coworkers, or whatnot, right? And that can make somebody want to not want to understand relationships or have relationships with other people, whether the relationship again is romantic, platonic, work, family, whatever, right? Because relationships are more than one person, a connection outside of you. And I think that sometimes in these day and times, we kind of always think of the word relationship as the lovers, or, in a loving, committed, non-committed, or romantic way. But it can also be with, what are you in relationship with, right? It can be with a person, it can be with spirit, it can be with your work. It can be multiple things. So where am I going with this, right? What new awareness is coming up to the surface for me? I feel like, what are you in relationship with that can make you feel like you have to isolate yourself, or can make you want to express your joy for it? And that's something that we may have to decide and see if this is coming up for us. Because a lot of times with new moons opposed to full moons, new moons, we don't see the moon in the sky at its highest point, and it's actually like hiding. And then we see the crescent moon because it's bringing light to earth, to us, to our intuition, to other things. It brings that emotional aspect. Let's see what other cards come up, because I'm kind of feeling like, let's just pull one more to see if it has anything else. It's kind of like a perspective card. I have the Hangman. That's all about perspective. It's also about martyrdom. Are you sacrificing what you truly feel on the inside to appease other people? This is really throat chakra, I feel like a lot, because like we can do this multiple times. Like a lot of times we just don't know or we're not aware of. So the things that I'm talking about, of course I'd love to know you all when I'm done with this reading, but like how is this coming up for you? Is this even bringing awareness to things that you didn't think about? Let's talk about the hidden desire. What hidden desire do I not see? Wow, this just came out. So we have the King of Swords, which is all about speaking. The swords energy in the tarot is about communication, is about thought, is about ideas, like all in the mental aspect of that. And the King of Swords knows how to communicate with confidence, and it when he's in its light, higher aspects. It knows how to like delegate, and really just bring clarity to situations. And then at its low point, it can be all of the opposites of what I just said. Like it can definitely be, I don't know why I want to just bring up like the manipulative way, like how sometimes people use words to
Too controlling?
yeah, like controlling, to kind of like put us, like use them against us in a way. Like I'm thinking of like contracts, even, like when you don't read contracts or
Yeah.
people don't describe or tell you what you're signing up for, it's kind of like, wait a second, this all could have been avoided if you just would have just been upfront and honest with me, right? Um, that's interesting that that came out. Contracts, but yeah, it's all about like communication and being upfront and honest. What hidden desires do I not see? So this is interesting how this is really coming into full throttle. I don't know why I want to say that, but like with the throat chakra, speaking things into existence, um, speaking things you want to release. A lot of times with the new moon, people want to speak on. I'm saying people because a lot of things that I've seen with new moons, right? We want to attract things, but sometimes we have to make room for what we want to attract and call in. And I feel like this also a time to release things as well, just like the full moon, because you want to make room for the new things, right? And if your mind is like cluttered with these negative thoughts, um, it's like, like, all right, let's release this. Let's look at this. So I can say, no, I don't believe this. No, I don't want to. I want to change and shift this energy and transform it, to bring in, the newer energy, the more positive energy, um, the more joy and happiness that you can choose to tap into. So let's pull a card for this third one. How can I bring what is best for me into my reality? Pentacles. I have the Two of Pentacles, and Pentacles is about that earth energy, grounding, things that are tangible. Now I'm picking up the fact that a lot of these choices and indecisions can work for us or against us. And it all depends on that King of Swords energy. Are we clear with ourselves first and foremost? Because you guys are speaking to a Gemini right now, or I'm a Gemini, right? And as well as Pisces, like we're mutable energies, right? And we have those polarities. Pisces has two fish, right? And Gemini is the twins. It can be that indecisiveness, but when we can find balance, right, within the opposites that we have within us, negative, positive, light, shadow, whatever, right? We have the point that we still have choice to choose if we want to stand in our light, our joy, our happiness, or if we want to hide and deflect from things that are bothering us or feeling negative, or like bothering us, like what is truly going on inside, as the saying goes, as within, so without. Um, definitely in reflection to that. So I wanna give the floor to anyone else that wants to speak on what I brought up.
Yeah, I have a question.
Mhm.
Pentacles, isn't that also about like materialistic or like resources, materialistic? I'm just, for whatever reason, coming up for me is we're talking about being creative, being expressive, and I know that the swords, ideas, and maybe things being manifested, being into a coming into a reality, things coming together to be
Yes.
real, to being like this is happening. So it's like, what can I bring? How can I bring what is best for me into my reality? Is just like doing, like making it happen, like taking what we are thinking and how we are feeling and making it tangible, real, and just putting our feet on the ground and just start going.
I like how you brought that up because that's very true. Like pentacles, I don't know. Maybe it's like that ancient word, like for coins or something when tarot came out hundreds of years ago. But like, pentacles can also mean like those coins, the money's coming in. Like definitely material. And like a lot of times people say too, like material. When someone's quote unquote materialistic, right? You think of someone that's always focused on money or things that you can buy with money, right? But when it comes to creativity, yes, absolutely. Like those ideas, bringing those ideas, making sense of those ideas, making a plan, making a strategy, and then like Pisces, taking a leap of faith and stepping into action and doing what you say you want to do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else want to talk or respond or just bring up any?
And if you need me to put the questions back up, just kind of I can. I have no problem. I just want to see everyone's face nice and big.
Yeah.
Anything for come up for you guys? If not, you might need to sit on it a little bit more. But
I like when you said the balance because its sign is two fish.
Hmm.
So it's like a reminder, like, I don't know, because to me, I need like sometimes a visual or some kind of prompt to like check myself. So that
Absolutely.
can be like a little reminder for this time, and also for myself as I'm, the Pisces. Love that
Hmm.
you put the Gemini plug. Like, okay, whatever I'm contemplating, like bring it into balance where I could be more extreme. Like, no, it has to be black or white. Like,
Hmm.
no, things are one way versus another way. I think this new phase of my life now is like there has to be a balance because I'm not really in control anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of things happen too. And like when we talk about spiritual things, like with Pisces too, it's like sometimes we can feel so out of control, but then we're being led to right where we need to be. And um I think that that does really bring in the aspect of faith. Like what is your relationship with your heart? What is your relationship with the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, right? What is your relationship with things that are outside of us that are connecting with the things inside of us? And I think even that can be balanced. Like I'll just bring this card up here. He's kind of like juggling two things that are literally black and white.
yeah.
And um that sweet spot in the middle is the best place to be because it's actually reminding me of chess, right? I remember when I was younger and someone was teaching me how to play chess. Um, I don't know that there's actual term for this, but when you bring most of the pieces to the center, it's the most powerful place to be. And it was reminding me of someone standing in the center and then just turning themselves in a 360. Like you can see all aspects and perspectives like that. So, um,
I actually have another way of thinking about it. So, because I'm also a therapist, one of
okay.
the things that I talk about being in the past is where
Mhm.
depression lives, being in the future is where anxiety lives, being in the present is where the peace is. And so
Absolutely.
if you look at it in that sense, kind of the same, it's powerful being peace, right? I feel
Mhm.
like it's powerful as well as calming and that, but I think it's still the same kind of a thing.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's so true. And the present moment is that awareness too. Like, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Cool. All right. Anything from you, Monique?
I was gonna do that. I was like, I don't want to call you out, but then like we're right here.
You know you had the space to speak, to use your voice.
Hmm.
Oh no, I was just listening.
Okay.
But I guess I was kind of thinking about like, for example, like my art and stuff. Like
Mm,
I kind of like with art sales, like I was thinking of maybe doing like a promotional thing of like, oh, it's gonna be my birthday. And so if anyone would like to a drawing from me, you can like send it to this my accounts or what, for pay and things like that. But I was like kind of like, oh, I still don't feel right about it. And I just
yes. Do
just
it. Do it. I know it's all about starting and just putting it out there. I think that sounds like a wonderful idea, honestly.
Yeah. And also what Irina brought up too, because Irina is actually teaching me, guys. She doesn't know it, but like, write things down. Think of a way that you can actually do something creative for yourself first before you put it out, because that can help you. And again, that's that balance, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah.
It's so interesting you're saying for your birthday, and I think that sounds like a wonderful idea. When I opened my business, I was trying to do it around my birthday because I was trying to make it like let's just everyone come together. It was in the grand opening, but I think it's a wonderful idea, especially I'm not sure how big your following is, but that's a great way to start and get it and to make it bigger. And right now you already have someone saying, "Hey, what's your IG? Let's connect." We want to be able
Yes.
to support each other, which is what we're here for. Yes, this is Coy and I trying to give information, but it's not just about that. It's about community. And so we want to support you just as much as we want you all to support us. So spread the word for us. We gonna spread the word for you. And it's all
Mhm.
about voice, right? If we're talking about voice, spreading voice,
Exactly.
spreading the word. All of it comes together.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you for sharing them.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
I hope
you.
this time for this meditation does help bring some things together, because guess what, y'all? We got it working.
Yes.
We're ready. And thank you for sharing that Instagram, Monique. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, we got it ready. The only thing you two are already muted. That's fine. But before I do that,
Okay.
um, no, I'm gonna put the journal prompts up afterwards. I'm gonna just get us all situated. So get yourself in position, whatever that looks like for you.
All right. I'm gonna go on mute now.
I'm just gonna play one note so you can hear it. All right. Okay. So before I begin, just take a seat. Wonderful. Take a seat, whatever feels comfortable for you. Leave your eyes open or keep them closed, whatever feels comfortable. Dropping your shoulders, letting your arms just lay by your side. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Taking another deep breath in and exhale. Take a cleansing deep breath in and exhale with a sigh. Roll your shoulders, wiggle your fingers and toes. Come back to. Okay. How did it feel, everyone? Take your time with answering. So you're just coming back to. Drink some water if you have some. See some smiles. I see some smirks. You're like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Very relaxing.
Yeah, soothing and relaxing.
Felt like we were setting everything in that we talked about earlier, just giving yourself a recall thing. And then I feel like this sense of floating. I feel like that's when I know I needed to relax. Yeah. And he enjoyed it too. He's been right here. He heard his auntie Rena. I'll just go ahead and put that out there.
Oh.
I'm glad that everyone felt it. Koi, what did you think? How did you, when you were over there, what'd you feel? What came up for you?
I kind of want to piggyback off of what Juliet said. Like, it did feel like it was just kind of just like floating, like almost like circling in to what everything that we were speaking of. And like I usually do these when I'm like kind of like laying down, but for some reason I kind of just wanted to like sit. And it just felt like I felt a lot of solar plexus. Like I felt something confident. Because I know there's been a few things that I've been thinking about and like wondering like when should I start it and this and that. But like the only thing that I can just really feel was like this confidence of like, just do it. Like, like you already kind of planted certain seeds for this already. Like you're watering it, like you can kind of show this like type of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna put up the journal prompts. Sorry, I couldn't think of what I was talking about. Okay. So just some questions that you can take down for yourself. What are 3 goals I want to accomplish this month? So we're talking about what we're trying to do, right? What limiting beliefs do we want to let go of? This is all of what we were talking about, right? What new reframed beliefs am I embracing? What boundaries am I setting to support my growth and well-being? And the last one will always be there, which is what intention are you setting tonight? And so after this, if you want, you can just sit with yourself and kind of go through these questions to see what comes up for you. And so it can help you in your direction as we use the new moon energy to help us to achieve our goals, to do the things that we mentioned today. I also created a worksheet that's now on Etsy in terms of beliefs about self. And it asks you, what are your current beliefs about yourself? What are the new beliefs that we want to believe? How can we practice some self-care, some self-love and acceptance? And I have some affirmations. I can post the link. It actually would be posted soon, but it's a downloadable, I guess, sheet, downloadable. You can download it and you can use it for yourself. But it's kind of, if you think about the beliefs that we have, and a lot of the questions two of the questions here are about our limiting beliefs and how can we reframe them to make them work for us.
Yes. Well,
Absolutely. And this will be posted to somewhere. And as soon as if you haven't looked at our websites yet, I know for my website, I posted the last video. This one will be posted as well. And then on Koi's YouTube channel, it's on there as well. And check out for on our Instagram, all of our social media platforms for any information about where you can find it if you're not already following us, which I know you both probably already are. At least one of us you're following.
yeah. And we're on different social media platforms, but you can always go back to like Instagram and find more information to lead you to wherever you need to go. Absolutely. I really like the first question too. Like,
The 3 goals you want to accomplish this.
mhm, great question to really just use this energy to move forward in the best way, shape, or form. Absolutely.
Well, lovely, lovely evening. Thank you all for being here. Please check out our social media accounts. We're going to be posting this on there as well as our website and YouTube page. And you should see us in a few weeks for the next full moon.
Absolutely. And I know that we're going to be having, yeah, we have new things. Me and Irene just have new things happening and just more information for you all. So definitely, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for allowing me to do this tonight with you. Whoever watches the replay, but yes, you know where to find us. We'll be doing this next, what is it, 2 weeks from now, which would be the full moon in Virgo.
Whoop,
Pretty sure,
whoop.
right? Yeah.
That's me.
Thank you all.
You ladies, have a wonderful evening.
So much. Have a
You're
wonderful evening.
welcome. Great night.